This is BENTV. My name is Okene. It's your program, Politics with KO, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Thursdays on this channel, Sky 182. Don't miss the debates by Nigerians and friends of Nigeria on issues surrounding Nigeria from around the world. My name is Okene.
It is Politics with KO. My name is Rose Peter Gray, and yet again, I am still with you. Of course, you know that Kayode Ogudamisi is still in Nigeria for the elections. Of course, he is quite disappointed that the election did not hold when it was meant to, but he's going to be here pretty soon, and we'll have quite a very interesting package for you today, something you should look forward to. We're going to open the lines pretty soon, not like late in the program, and I have with me two guests in the studio. Mr. Patrick Okene, who is a political commentator for the PDP. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me on.
Yes, and of course, he was here with us last week, and yet again, you know, there's so much to talk about since it's the campaign trail leading to the presidential election coming up 28th of March. Mr. Kola Adewale is the APC UK Publicity Secretary. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, and I need you to know that we have with us on Skype, we'll be speaking with the Chief Press Secretary of the INEC, that's the Independent National Electoral Commission with us, Mr. Kayode Idowu. But before I speak to him, I just want to have a one or two talks with my in-house guest. We know that the Senate has said that the Senate President, David Mark, has said that they are satisfied with INEC's readiness and their card reader, because the chairman of INEC went for demonstration of the card reader and, of course, showed to the House everything that they have slated for the election, and the House is, of course, satisfied with everything that INEC has put in front of them. Let me find out from my guest. The postponement of this election is actually necessary. Could we say that INEC was not completely necessary, and with the postponement, it has helped them to put their house in order?
I'm glad we're going to have the INEC spokesperson on this show today, so at least I'll be able to put some questions to him. But I think Jega has been very disingenuous. He's simply like a man trying to hide behind one finger. Everybody knows now from what has been coming out of INEC that it was not just the security situation that informed the change in the date of the elections. Last time I was on this show, I was so sure that the elections were not going to change because I believed what Jega told the world. Now, you mentioned that he went before the Senate and he did a demonstration. But like they always say, the devil is always in the detail. We also know that when they carried out the same test in Enugu, two people they tried, he failed. Now, the question I should be asking is, if this election had taken place on the 14th, the way Jega said, back then he said he was ready, if the election had taken place then, what would he have used? Because from all indications, ballots are not completely in place. The card reader, what Jega told, because I read his statement, what he said, and again, I stand to be corrected because the INEC spokesperson is going to be on this show. What he said was that they had carried out some tests, some user tests in America, Okay? And now they're going to do that, or they are in the process of doing that within all the senatorial zones in Nigeria. Okay. Now, my day-to-day, my 9 to 5 job, I work as a project manager. Now, you cannot do that when you're running a project. Something as serious as this, very late in the day, you are now doing a user as a UAT test. This is something that you have done long before now. Also, you don't, initially when they did a demo, they did their demo, they did it in Abuja. You should have done this in all the zones of Nigeria.
Okay.
To be doing that this now shows very clearly that INEC were not ready. So now we need to be convinced, we need to put them on the spot. If it's necessary, INEC needs to be giving us daily updates in terms of their preparedness for these elections. I'm not convinced that Jega is doing a good job.
Okay, so Mr. Diwali.
He said something that INEC were not ready, but in actual fact, I believe they were.
Okay.
You understand? INEC came out straight, Jega came out and he made mention of the fact before then, weeks before that time, he had come out to tell the whole Nigerians that they were prepared for the election. Now, you see, a lot of stuff was not made known to Nigerians at first, because at first he came out with the figures according to the states and figures of the eligible voters according to states, and the figures of the PVCs that had been given out, or the percentages. Mm-hmm. Now, nobody made a cry about that, nobody screamed about it, until the PDP led government began to bring in, because of what they felt presently, that they were going to lose the election. And then they started bringing up, oh, INEC is not ready. You see, the pressure and blackmail was so high, they had already cancelled the election weeks before even sitting down with INEC chairman to say, look, it was not possible. Now, they didn't carry all other actors along. Now, when Jega went to see the Senate, when he was at the Senate panel before, he said 0.03% of the machine and the cards did not work, which out of the whole total, he said that is inconsequential. Okay. Now, a lot of stuff are not coming out. I said, okay, he said this, he said that. He said just about 1 million cards are what is left outside. Now, I believe from what he has been making mention.
Sorry, did you say about 1 million cards are left outside?
Yes, that's it. That's exactly what I'm quoting Jega right now.
Left outside where?
Well, he said left outside. That is not for me to now actually put. He said left outside.
So wait up. Today, what's today's date again? Today is what, 17th?
No, it's not.
19th. 19th. Okay, no, sorry, it's just me. I printed this again. It's a good thing. We're going to get the INEC spokesperson. I printed this off INEC's website. This was about an hour ahead of this show. Yes. Now, if you look at that figure there. This was as at 17th of this month. Now, the total number of Nigerians that have gotten their PVCs stands at about 75%. Now, let's put this in perspective. Before the planned date of the elections, about 35 million Nigerians did not have their PVCs. If you look at the United Kingdom, in the 2010 elections, the total vote cast was 29 million. Okay. So we're talking about voters more than the entire voting population in the UK. We're not going to get the opportunity to register their vote, and people say, INEC are ready. That is a joke.
If we say INEC wasn't actually ready, but the PDP-led government made known to us that security was the main reason that for the postponement.
Like I said, Jega is a man trying to hide behind one finger. It is not possible.
No, you cannot say Jega is the man trying to hide behind one finger.
INEC, as I understand it, is an independent body.
INEC is an independent body.
Correct,
fine.
okay.
Now, why did Jega not say, Jega said we are ready, only for them to turn around? They are not talking about the PVCs. They were not talking about the PVCs when it was moved. They were talking about the security in the Northeast. And if you look at it very well, back then when, before Jonathan became the governor, they had parts of the states that were under the militancy. That did not stop the election from going ahead. Okay. Now, why are the PDP?
Okay, gentlemen, I will have to stop you here because I need to.
We'll come back to this. Let me put this question to you. Do you think it's fair that 35 million people were not stood the risk of not exercising their democratic right to vote?
You see, that is the figure, you guys. That is the figure. No.
This is the figure.
5 million people is a lot, but I'm not sure what's.
That is 35 million.
But this is the figure from INEC.
Okay.
INEC spokesman can come and confirm that.
Let me speak with him. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
16 million people still don't have
Hello,
vote.
sir. Hello, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Mr.
Yeah.
Kayode Idowu, the Chief Press Secretary of INEC. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you for.
Okay, so I know you might have been listening to our conversation that INEC was ready, INEC wasn't ready. The reason for the postponement was basically security, as we were told initially. But now INEC is telling us they have achieved a distribution of 75.88% PVC distribution after the postponement. Could it be that INEC wasn't ready?
Well, thanks for that question. I will disappoint you slightly by not joining wholeheartedly in that conversation, because the commission has moved on. Now, the commission prepared to conduct an election. The election were prepared to conduct elections. The elections were scheduled for February 14 and February 28th. Yes, we were not 100% ready. I do not know of any election management body in the world that will be 100% ready for elections in 8 days to that elections. However, developments came in, letters were written, security advice to the commission that those elections should be rescheduled. The commission, not being a security agency, had no choice but to be advised by that letter from the security agencies. Well, let me confirm that the decision is the commission's decision, because by law, only the commission has powers to take the decision of scheduling elections. And so it was the commission's decision, but it was a realistic decision taken by the commission. And now we have moved on. We are fine-tuning and perfecting the processes that we had put in place for the elections to hold earlier, but which has been rescheduled now. And we hope that with the time addition that we have, we will be able to deliver perfect elections.
Okay, sir. I think one of my guests would like to put a question to you. Let him do that. And of course, viewers, you have the opportunity to call in to ask Mr. Kayode Idowu your questions. Please, just one question. Mr. Okene, you want to say something?
Yes, thank you, Mr. INEC spokesperson. Now, you say, yes, I agree with you that it's not possible to have a situation where an agency conducting elections can be 100%. Now, do you accept the fact, based on the data on your website, that as of 2 days ago, 16.3 million Nigerians still hadn't gotten their PVCs? Is that data correct or not?
The data I have with me show that we have reached 76.4%.
Put that in context. Can you translate that into figures? Let's not talk about percentages here.
That translates to 52 million.
Okay.
So, which is still about 16 million, give or take.
Hold on.
Because the information I have is from your website.
Hold on, please. Now, you need to understand that it would be delusional to expect that the collection of these cards will be 100%, and I'll tell you why.
I don't expect that. I made that quite clear. I did it before I asked my question.
Just a minute, please.
Okay.
Just a minute, please.
Let's hear you, sir.
We did the registration in 2011, and we are not giving these cards out by proxy. Among these cards, some people registered in 2011, they are not in the country. And perhaps you registered in 2011 and you are possibly not in the country now. That card will be there. Among those cards, some people actually have passed on. Those cards will be there. Among these cards, some people registered in a place, they've moved to another place within Nigeria, they can't be bothered to go back to where they registered to collect those cards will be there. Because the commission is not going to give the card by proxy.
Okay.
And so the principle that the commission is working on is not how many people are left or how many cards are left, but to be sure that everybody who is registered and who is available to collect the card, we have the card to collect, whatever number that is.
Okay, sir, can we quickly talk about the introduction? You said, hello? Sir,
Yeah.
I think we lost you there. The last thing you said, please.
Yeah, I said that the principle the commission is working on is not how many cards are left or how many cards have been collected, but that as long as you are validly registered, namely that your name is in the register, and you are available to collect your card, then you will have your card to collect,
Okay.
whatever number of people that may be.
Okay, I want to know what would happen to some Nigerians who said they are unable to register because the machines allocated to their wards, after registering about 4 people, got bad.
Honestly, there is nothing like that.
Let's clarify what happened in Enugu. I think it was yesterday. That happened where the card reader failed. Now, I'm not in any way advocating for for us to stop the use of that card reader. I think it is right. If
Okay.
indeed we need to grow our democratic practices and we want to have transparent elections, I'm all for the use of that card reader.
Okay,
However,
we're going
it
to talk
seems
about
to
the
me
introduction
INEC
of
are
the
still
card
not
reader.
prepared.
Okay, wait a minute. We're still going to talk about the card reader. But if the Senate President have approved INEC and say that he's satisfied with the demonstration of the card reader and everything else that the INEC chairman put in front of him, and you say INEC is not ready.
How many times have we had Jega say they were ready?
Look, Jega has said they were ready long before they even came out to say, look, we are having problems. Jega never said we had problems. He said we were ready.
Correct.
Now,
Okay.
the excuse they had to come out with was for security reasons.
Okay.
Now, he still went there and he said they put the questions to him. Are you ready? And Jega, in the Senate chambers, and
Okay.
Jega said, yes, we are ready, but when it comes to security, it's not in my field. You talk to the security guys. Now, that is not for him. This shows, this is an organization
Yes.
that has shown to the whole world and Nigerians that they are ready.
No, but
so what is the excuse
He
about
said that 2 weeks ago. He said that before the Council of
Look,
States that we're ready.
we are still going back to the same thing.
Okay, let me ask you, why is APC, why is APC in a hurry to disenfranchise Nigeria?
No. We are not disenfranchised. He just explained. You said you're going to put questions through to the man from INEC. And now the man from INEC has just said to you that, look, they've got those who are either dead, those who've moved, and those who are not within the country.
Okay, you know
And so
what,
he's
we're
not going to
gonna
give
come
anything
back
else.
to it. Let's not come back
So
to
why
that.
are you having
Exactly.
that?
Good
When
question.
your party has
Good
said,
question.
We're going to
Good
come back to
question.
that.
Yes,
I want
we're
to
going
find out. I want to find out from Mr. Kayode Idowu, because INEC has admitted that more than 1 million PVCs have been stolen. How come? And will these PVCs be valid?
Well, the stolen PVCs will not be valid, but those PVCs will have to be replaced. And that is where we are now. We are working to replace those PVCs. I hope you will understand that the PVCs we are snatched cannot possibly be blamed on INEC. That is purely a security issue. The cars were about to be delivered where they will be collected, and some hoodlums struck in different places, and
Well, listen. Hello, sir. Hello? Hello, sir. I think we lost him. And we have a caller. Let me take this call first. Hello, caller. Thanks for calling. Where are you calling from? Hello? Okay, he isn't speaking to us. I think we lost that call. So who was talking to me?
Yeah, now, you see, now the figures, like I always say, the devil is in the detail.
Yes.
Now we're talking of about 16 million Nigerians who can still not vote if the elections were held today. 2 weeks ago, that figure was like
But the
35 million.
PDP did not talk about
look,
INEC's
you see,
readiness.
it's-
No, wait,
They mentioned
let me say that.
security.
Excuse me, let me tell you something.
let me say
it
this.
is quite unfortunate that the PDP and their spokesman here comes on air and says, oh, yeah, it's 16 million this, 16 million that. they see defeat staring them in the face. It is pure and simple.
Okay, talking about
you come on here and
talking about the
You're very delusional.
No.
May I read
You're talking
this
about
out?
PVCs
No, wait.
and then on the flip side,
Do you know what PVC is?
you're talking about security.
Gentlemen, please, can I read
This
this
is what I
out?
said. This is what I
Sorry,
said.
thank you. Gentlemen, can I read this out? The New York Times during the week had this to say: Jonathan postponed elections to frustrate Buhari. They stated that President Goodluck Jonathan, appeared to be afraid of the increasing popularity of Buhari, who most Nigerians would likely vote for. And that's the reason the
I
election
don't attach a lot of importance to what the Americans say. Because I believe that just an agenda, a hidden agenda by the Americans when Nigeria comes. That's a different conversation. I'm a Nigerian, so I don't need an American to tell me about how elections are taking place in my country. They're Americans. I'm a Nigerian. So, with all due respect, I know about my country more than the Americans do. Again, this is not the first time the Americans will get it wrong.
Okay.
For ages, we campaigned to get the Americans to recognize Boko Haram for what it was. They refused through Hillary Clinton. It took them forever before they finally designated Boko Haram as a terrorist organization. Again, like I said, I don't want to drag this conversation somewhere else. Let's get back to the facts. What are the facts before us? The facts before us are that on the 14th of February, when they wanted to have these elections, it was apparent that about 35 million Nigerians were not in a position to vote. Yet, Jega, a day before, had told the Council of States, but these figures are from INEC.
This is a gentleman across, who has come across to say that 35 million. And I'll tell you something.
But this is a very
simple thing. How do you trust information, statistics, or information coming out from there? Because you've got your so-called politicians.
Hello, caller. Thank you for calling. What's your name? Where are you calling
The
from?
INEC spokesperson confirmed that this is from
Hello?
And he just told you the reasons why they
What's your
don't
name?
do all that.
It doesn't add up.
How does
Hello?
It doesn't add up because you
Thank
don't
you for
expect
calling. Where are you calling from?
My name is Anthony, I'm calling from London, please.
Okay, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, in all this thing, it is very reasonable for every one of us to have good understanding, because one thing is clear, and what is clear is that INEC is not ready. We have participated, people like us have participated in so many exams on which we can have a reason to believe that we are ready for the exam. When the matter or the facts of the exam start coming up, we find out that we are not really ready. All those walking and the hits of PVC being littered in every table and every collection center are being owned by Nigerians. In every media and systems that is coming up on television, including Ben television, NTA, channels, and every one of them, we are seeing heaps and heaps. That one is one. The second part of it is that I understand that they still have 1 billion or over 1 billion or nearly 1 billion of PVC they still need to include for things to be better. You see, all those very people that you are seeing that have not gotten all this, they are the people that are likely to be in trouble when the election was going on. If they fail to vote, they will not have good understanding. And they cannot accept it to be. And any loser between Buhari and Jonathan, we always lay a hand there that their people was unable to vote. They were disenfranchised. We take time to do things right.
That's good. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate your contribution. It made a lot of sense.
Yes, he made a lot of sense there, you see. And in actual fact, as a party, right, we said this before, we said this last year, we said this the year before, about the PVCs and all that. Now, we've taken time out to tell the whole world. But unfortunately, when APC was actually telling the world what the problems were, the PDP and the whole world was throwing propaganda around that because we are going to be sore losers. You understand what I'm saying? So what suddenly changed overnight? When APC was making all the whole noise and telling the world about the problems that will be encountered, that was even before then. So that means to say we must be Nostradamus to actually see tomorrow.
Okay.
Now, all of a sudden, when I make the umpire says, look, we are ready. and then all these figures start jumping around. And then you've got the INEC man on there who
Okay.
says, look, this is what is happening. And, you know, they will not give out cards by proxy. And knowing fully well that, you see, when statistics come out from Nigeria, one thing I want my gentleman here to understand, when statistics comes out from Nigeria, and then you've got those in power trying to twist figures. And you see, all these figures, excuse me, let me land here first. You see, when before the statistic, when Jega said, when he would brought out all the figures according to states and according to regions about those that collected and what was left to be done, nobody said anything. Until when he said, look, we are still going to go ahead with it, and the pressure was made, then you start having panic hire days and the fire me and whatever.
Okay, I need to let our audience know that we have the INEC spokesperson is back online. Sir, sorry for the glitch. Are you with us?
I'm with you, thank you.
Because there's no two ways about it. I know that INEC must have certain challenges. You talked about the PVCs that were snatched. INEC had 4 years to prepare for these elections. 4 years to register Nigerians, to distribute PVCs. I mean, I know that we're having challenges with our postal agency. And what about for security also? And all these other zones we're talking about, there are some interlands, people living in the interlands who are having challenges because they've been asked to go to the local government to get their PVCs. And they are wondering, when would INEC officials be there? But away from that, sir, we want you to talk to us about the challenges that INEC is facing. A huge budget and this duration of time. So why are we still having these problems?
Yeah, good question, but many things actually are not correct there. The first thing is that, yes, the cards that were snatched were not snatched 4 years ago. They were cards that were snatched after they were produced and were about to be delivered to the people who are to own the cards. That was the point at which they were snatched. And I'm talking of things that happened as late as a couple of weeks ago. So that accounted for many of the outstanding cards we are talking about. But you asked the valid question. In the last 4 years, why did INEC not get through with the...
Sir, I'm sorry, I really can't hear you.
I said you asked a valid question, saying in the last 4 years, why did INEC not get through with the distribution of the PVCs? Now, I will tell you, am I with you?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Okay. Now, over the last years, INEC done many things with the data of registrants. After we gathered the data in 2011 and the elections were over, the commission had to go back and process that data. Because you and I know that there's a systemic problem in our country where, for whatever reason, people choose to register many times. And thus, you have what we call multiple registrants, or people have as many as 4 instances of registrations in the register. We went back, we deduplicated the data. It was after we deduplicated the data, we eliminated over 4